Child shirt continued. Step number 8B. So we have drawn our seam allowance and our basting stitches, and we've put our 3 rows of basting stitches in to our sleeve caps, both of them, from the double notches in the back up to the notch in the front, stopped, and then down, or this is the center, and then down to the front. 3 rows, 1/8 of an inch down from our 1/2 inch stitch line, 1/8 of an inch up, and 1/4 inch up from that stitch line. I did notice that when I folded the sleeve in half, put the hems together, crease this up the middle, that notch was off a little bit, and so I put that notch, here's my center, I folded it in half, and I put that notch, it's going to line up with the shoulder seam. That notch is 1/2 inch forward. Here's the front armhole notch. Here's our grain line, and it's 1/2 of an inch forward is where that sleeve cap notch should be. So I just adjusted it. I didn't adjust the basting because I can certainly just work with that. I only have to take in 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here. But I did put that notch forward. So now I'm going to take my shirt, and I'm working with the left sleeve. So I'm going to get to the left armhole. Here's the front of the little shirt, and here's my left armhole. This is the right side of the fabric, and this is the right side of the fabric. Here's our wrong side. I've written on it, left sleeve. So I'm going to take right side with that single notch to the right side in the armhole, and I'm going to line up first my underseam, then that single notch, then the new notch position I have, to the shoulder seam, and then now the double notches in the back of the sleeve cap to the back of the armhole, and we're pinning these together, right sides together or face to face. And I am anchoring my sleeve cap into my armhole with 5 anchor pins. I'm going to put another pin right there between the double notches in the back. And then now you can see I have a little bit of ease in the front and the back, and I'm going to have to pull that in with my threads. So I usually like to start at the top because that's where the most amount of gathers that you spread out should be, the most amount of ease. So we're going to come here and we're going to try to get our threads that are for one side. So let's see here. It looks like here we go. Here's 1 and 2. Let's see which one it is right here. And 3. It looks like these 3 threads should go to the back. And why would we use 3? so that the threads don't snap and it's even distribution of fullness. We only have to pull in about a 1/2 inch or so. Let's just pull in a little bit and see, I'm just easing it down that sleeve cap, and then we don't have any puckers or any gathers, but we've distributed some of the fullness. And then it's up at the top because that's where our shoulders pop out. So looks like we can do the teeniest bit more. And one thing that you can do too is you can tie all 3 of those together. Which I should have done. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And I can tie them more towards their thread leg ends so they're not in the way of pulling the basting stitches in, but more towards the end there. Okay, let's see. Let's work a little of that fullness out there. Let's see if this is a good length now to fit into the armhole. We're pulling in the basting stitches for the sleeve cap. Let's go ahead and tie our threads here at the bottom. Pull that in a little bit. Move that pin for a second. Then I'll get that knot nice and close. I can put my pin right back in. And let's compare the length. Work out those puckers. It's feeling pretty good. Let's work out a few little puckers here and start putting some pins in. And this, we're pinning it now right side to right side, and we've just pulled our basting stitches for our back sleeve cap, and we're dispersing in some of the ease that rounds out our sleeve cap. You can do this with the basting stitches for many different sleeves. It really helps, especially for a tailored jacket, a wedding dress sleeve, or just your favorite shirt. Looking good. Okay. Pull some more fullness over to the top too. I never want to not have enough fullness up at the top. Let's just make sure we get way over there. That looks good. Repin. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and pull the threads for the front armhole, front sleeve cap, to go into the armhole. Let's go ahead and tie this off at the bottom. Grab those 3 threads. If that pin's in the way, just remove it for now. You can pull it in a little bit if you'd like to. Make sure you get those 3 threads together. Made a knot nice and close, right down where I have my notch. Because I don't need a lot of fullness down here, I need it over here. So I did pull it in a little teeny bit, not too much. Good, let's go ahead and pull our threads in a little bit more on the top sleeve cap for the front. And now we're going to put our pins in. This looks really good. You can put pins about every inch. Great. Let's go ahead and start sewing. Put your stitch length back to 2.5. Little back stitch. And pull those basting stitches up. And I'm going to be removing my pins. And I'm sewing on the blue line, 1/2 inch away from our raw edges. I'm sewing in between my basting stitches. Let me get all these basting threads out of the way. Put them up to the top. Get those basting stitches out of the way. There we go. Hold the thread legs up to your right hand and get them out of the seam allowance area, which is here. Here's our seam allowance. Stitch line to the raw edge. We're approaching our side seam. Fantastic. We've set that sleeve in, and now we're going to do the same thing to the right sleeve. We're going to come on over to the front as well, the right side of the fabric, and we're going to look and see if we have any puckers or if we've done a decent job setting it in. I don't see any puckers there. We're looking for puckers on the seam. Because now's the time to catch them. No, everything looks really good. Okay, we have completed step 8B.